Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
Welcome into the Fairways of Life show, folks. Absolute delight to have your company. Great show planned for you today. In just a moment, we're going to be talking with one of the people atop one of the governing bodies in the world of golf. What initiatives are they working on? How will it impact you in your game? I suspect very much so, little doubt about that. Also coming up a little bit later on in the program, we're going to be joined by a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And when I introduce you to this person, I know you're going to know who it is, but when I introduce you to this person, you'll understand exactly how and why it fits in perfectly for this week. But we start with, first of all, Seth Waugh. Seth is the CEO of the PGA of America. Of course, as I mentioned, they're one of the game's governing bodies. And I think an argument can be made as the most important for a variety of reasons, which we're going to touch on today. Seth became the CEO of the PGA in September of 2018. He is the former CEO of Deutsche Bank. Since becoming CEO, he spearheaded the PGA's transformational $500 million partnership with Omni to relocate the PGA headquarters of Frisco, Texas. The site will have 26 PGA of America championships there, and one will be happening very, very soon. I believe most of that move is complete, but we'll ask him about that as well. Of course, the big championships coming up for the PGA of America. You can see the PGA Professional National Championship the end of April at Fields Ranch at PGA Frisco. Of course, the PGA Championship at Valhalla this year. The KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship will be back at Harbor Shores. The KPMG Women's PGA Championship will be at Sahalee, and then the 2025 Ryder Cup next year in September will be at Bethpage Black. So with that, we bring in Seth Waugh. Welcome into the program. Seth, absolute delight to have you join us today. I guess the first question I would ask for you is, how would you describe the role of the 28,000 plus PGA professionals that you represent?
Well, they're on the. First of all, great to be with you, Matt. Thanks for having me. It was great to see you at the show, and nice to be back at the PGA show, and nice to be back with you now. I think the easiest way to think is about our actual 30,000 now are on the front line of the game every day. They're the people. We have our mission is to grow the game and serve our members, and our belief is that if we can make 30,000 lives better, we can kind of make millions of lives better through this incredible game of ours, right? That teaches life lessons and values and builds relationships and brings you to beautiful places and all those things. So our folks are servant souls. They're really teachers and coaches, as well as people that are just trying to make other people's lives better, and that they've chosen golf as the vehicle to do that. I think I truly believe that golf is one of the most amazing engines for good on earth. It not only raises $5 billion or so in charity every year, and every other sport sort of borrows it, and everybody's kind of second sport or first sport is just, again, the values and everything they do. So our folks are out there every day, making you better at the game if you're a teacher, and creating experiences for everybody at all levels, and growing it every day.
Love it. These 30,000 centuries at the gate of the game for so many that are engaged in these life lessons and in this inspiring role that golf can play in everybody's life. Also includes the initiatives that you as an organization have, some of which, like the Junior League, et cetera, that have been successful for some time now. But when you look at the rest of 2024, what would you say are the primary initiatives of the PGA for this year?
Well, to keep the momentum going, to be honest with you, I mean, I think, golf has never been in better shape, right? If you think back of the Tiger boom, it sort of, a lot of people bought clubs, kind of tried it, figured out it was kind of a hard game, and put them in their closet. And, we built a bunch of golf courses, and then, a financial crisis hit, and the game went into decline, and courses shut, et cetera, et cetera. This time, it's sort of, okay, how can we be intentional? How can we make sure that this growth that we're seeing when people had more free time because they were working remotely or not working at all, how do we make sure that's sticky? How do we make sure that this is a generational kind of change? And by the way, at the same time, how do we make sure that the game, begins to look more like the rest of the world? Because we feel as if we can make the game look more like the rest of the world. Maybe the world will behave a little bit more like our game with the civility that it teaches in so many ways. And so we have worked really hard to not only welcome everybody to the game, but be invitational, to be out there on the front line, kind of creating those experiences that I sort of talked about before. And what we've seen is incredible growth on a top line in every way. We also have seen growth in how you can consume the game, right? We have historically measured golf by 18 holes. But if you and I, Matt, went out and shot hoops in the backyard and played horse, we would have played basketball today. It wouldn't have been 5-on-5 with refs, but it would have been basketball, right? And in the same way, if you go by and stop at a driving range and hit balls, you played golf that day. If you play a par 3 or go to a putt-putt course or, in fact, putt on your carpet tonight before you go to bed, you will have played golf that day. And we embrace that in every way. And so there's more off-course golfers now than there are on-course golfers. And as that feels a little bit weird, but we view that as kind of the gateway to the game, right? And if you're out there, figuring out how to, at Top Golf, how to hit a 7-iron, you're probably going to take that to green grass at some point, and we embrace all that. And so more and more our professionals are out there in different forms of the game, bringing it on. And so, we're, again, more of the same. But I'd also say, because of this boom in the game, our professionals are more taxed than they've ever been. They're working harder than they ever have, and weren't necessarily getting compensated a whole lot differently than they have. And so we have a group called Career Services that is out there trying to raise the profile of our professionals, but also their value, and sort of teaching two things. One is kind of what is a fair wage for people that are out there, working 100-hour weeks, number one, and number two, creating a little bit more of a lifestyle, right? Because it was hard to recruit people into the profession given how hard it was, and that they were sort of presumed to be underpaid. And as a result of that, our professionals now, our average pay for a professional is over $100,000 for the first time ever. It's risen every year beyond inflation and beyond kind of what wage growth has gone. And anecdotally, while we don't control those jobs, our professionals are getting much more of a life. They're not 40-hour weeks by any means, but they're getting some weekends off, and I think facilities are understanding the need to do that. And as a result of that, we have the most associates or people in the pipeline that we've had since the early 2000s, and so that's growing, and it's getting younger as some of our other professionals age out. We've also added a deferred comp plan for the first time ever. We sorted out how to create. We sort of borrowed from the PGA Tour's plan and have created essentially a wealth creation kind of retirement fund for our professionals. So. We are again trying to make their lives better in the attempt to make a whole lot of more lives better in every form that we can think about, by again creating wealth vehicles, creating better pay, creating better life balance, as well as sort of teaching them through our education on how to welcome more and more people to the game and make them better at their profession.
All of this is critically important, folks, to the game of golf, because they're growing the game at a foundational level. And what Seth and the PGA of America and their leadership are doing for PGA professionals, I think, is critically important to maintaining the momentum of the same. When we come back with Seth Waugh, I want to talk to him about the move to Frisco. I want to circle back and talk to him a little bit more about this golden age, as he phrased, that we're in right now with the game of golf, and talk about retention and how the game, in terms of at least the numbers of people coming into the game, how they reflect more of the vision that he's hoping for as the game moves forward to take on the attributes of the game and generalized society, which I thought was an absolutely brilliant way of phrasing it. The Fairways of Life show is presented by the PGA Tour Superstore. They are the #1 golf retailer from coast to coast. If you need it, they have it. And the beauty is, when you go in, you're dealing with professionals to make sure that what you need is the very, very best for you and your game. Check them out at PGATourSuperstore.com and in the store at your happy place.
Relax. Easy now. Find your happy place. It's all in the hips. Just tap it in. Yes!
Find the latest clubs and apparel at Golf's Happy Place, the PGA Tour Superstore.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
It screams. It tracks. It's soft. It reacts. It is the Bridgestone Tour B with a game-changing reactive cover designed to spring faster off your driver and stick longer to your wedges. Try Bridgestone's Tour Bs, the Tour Ball reinvented.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try this. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm gonna go after the PGA Tour.
Bo, you're gonna need the right equipment company.
I think I got that.
You know Tour Edge backs all their clubs with a lifetime warranty.
I know.
They ship all their premium custom clubs in 48 hours.
I know.
All their premium clubs are hand-built in the USA.
I know.
You know Tour Edge has won 35 times out here.
Guys, I know.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com. Welcome back to the Fairways of Life show. Matt Adams here with you. Honored to have the presence of Seth Waugh, the CEO of the PGA of America. Seth, the big move to Frisco, which I believe, is it safe to say that it is complete now? And how did everything go? What's there?
Yeah, it's absolutely complete. We still have we still have a bit of a presence in Florida, and we will for another couple of years. But it's our home. We don't even call it a headquarters. We call it a home. I think it's one of those few times in life when the reality is actually better than the dream. This was a very complicated deal. We were, to give you a little history, we were looking at an RFP because we'd sort of timed out in our building in South Florida. We were very happy in Florida, kind of assumed that we'd get paid to stay, but went and and investigated a number of different cities, all the ones you'd imagine: Charlotte, Atlanta, Phoenix, et cetera. And Dallas jumped off the page, and Frisco specifically, because of two things. One, it's a very business-forward community, and therefore the incentives were attractive. But more importantly, they had 650 acres that the city owned and wanted to do something with. They are Sports City USA, self-proclaimed, and they're represented by every other major sport, and didn't have golf and wanted to have golf. And there's not a lot of associations that are looking to move, and so it was an amazing marriage. And then we brought in our partner with Omni, who put in $550 million, by the way, in the middle of COVID, which wouldn't have, I'm not sure there's another company on earth that would have been that great a partner at that time. And in the hospitality business, has built an amazing campus. Their resort is off the charts, as are the golf courses. There's in the background there, you can see the district, which is the town square for Frisco, relative to golf, but also for golf to a certain degree. All things golf are there, and we have a top golf experience. We have all kinds of F&B. We have a 2.5 acre putting experience that's free to the public. We have a lighted 10-hole par 3 course that Gil and Bo Welling collaborated on. We have the championship golf course, 2 championship golf courses made by Bo and Gil. And as you said earlier, we're going to have everything we do is going to come there and be there. And then if you think about our building, so for that, we had an incredible city partner, an incredible financial partner and operating partner in Omni. And we built our building, and our building is extraordinary. It is, you walk into the first floor and it's, you feel like you're walking into, in my world, Fenway Park, right? It's kind of that feeling when you walk up and you see the field and smell the dirt and hear the crack of the bat. And that's what our first floor is all our teaching. We have an indoor short game area. We have, we bring in, hundreds of our associates over the course of the year. I was there last week, and we had 60 that were being taught downstairs. And then obviously the business of the PGA goes on in the top floors. We celebrate the history of who we are and our members. We have sort of a Hall of Fame component. We show, display our trophies and just the history of who we are and what we do every day. So, when we say home, we want it to be home not just for the folks that work there, but for the 30,000 members and anybody who loves the game, because it's a celebration of golf in every form. It's funny. I didn't think that, as people talk about buildings, that we would be in the conversation with Apple, but I think the 2 most celebrated buildings in the last couple of years in terms of headquarters would be ourselves, frankly, and Apple, and it's well deserved because it's a really special place to visit. It's a really even more special place to work. So we couldn't be more proud of what the reality is.
Seth, it's incredible to see it. That was actually my first time seeing the video of the inside of the building, and to hear you describe it.
How about I nailed
as
the
we
timing
were
there,
down.
by the way, Matt? I mean, I finished right on time.
Thank you for that too. I do want to ask you about this though, because we're talking so much about the strength of the game right now and how the game is booming. And you probably know this. I come from that green grass side of the game.
Yeah.
But is it not ironic that while it's booming on the 99.99% level of the game, at the game's highest competitive tiers, the game is in somewhat, is it fair to say, disarray? How do you view that kind of dichotomy?
Yeah, well, look, I think the latter is part of the former, right? Golf is hot. And golf, therefore, was was, I don't want to say vulnerable, but was, well, I would say vulnerable. It was open to disruption because, it's a rising market, number one, and therefore that. And disruption is always going to make you better, and I think it will. It's been, hard to deal with in every form, but it is a wake-up call to everybody to say, okay, what we've been doing for a really long time, do we need to think about it in slightly different ways and do it better? And I think the tour has responded to that in a big way. And so, look, we would like the game to come back together. We do not think this fracture is good for the game. We don't think on the professional level we're a big enough sport to support two leagues. It's hard to compete against a business model that really isn't economically sustainable, and so I have a lot of sympathy for what the tour has gone through to try and deal with that. But we hope that it does come together, and it's obviously attracted in the form of SSG, significant investment dollars that believe in the power of the game and where it's going, and that's a real advertisement for the game. We think it's going to change the dynamic kind of forever, in the sense that there is a for-profit entity now. We've all been non-for-profits that have been frenemies. We compete on on a variety of things, but we certainly cooperate for the betterment of the game and always have. And I don't suggest that SSG is a different perspective than that, but they do have investors and need return, and therefore that will change the dynamic of things going forward. It's affected us. Our purse has doubled in the time that I've been here, which is 5.5 years, and we've had to adjust to do that. It hasn't disrupted what we do every day to promote our mission, but we've had to make certain adjustments. So look, we're like everybody else, waiting to see how it all unfolds from here. And again, I choose to think about it. We choose to think about it as an opportunity. How do you, again, in the same way that COVID was that, how do we, come out of it stronger than we've ever been? We're fortunate to have the assets we have. We have, what we would argue is, one, if not the most valuable asset through the KPMG in the women's game. And in the men's game, we have, 1.5 of the 5, waterfront properties, if you will, in the form of the PGA Championship and half the Ryder Cup. So, our brand is very strong. Our mission, we'll always sort of look at this as, how do we set ourselves up for another 100 years, and how do we, protect our mission, and how do we nurture and our assets to the betterment of the game and our membership.
Seth, I am so proud of what you have done. I'm so proud of the leadership of the PGA of America and the 30,000 PGA professionals. Super, super excited about everything that's going on in the game of golf and the stewardship that you collectively provide. And for today, my friend, thank you very much for your time. It was massive, and we very much appreciate it.
Very much. Like, life's a team sport, right? There's a lot of people. It's not me. It's 30,000 strong, and I've got a great team around me. And again, we're going to leave the room better than we found it. That's the whole point.
Absolutely love it. Well, thank you very much, Seth, one more time. Folks, when we come back on the Fairways of Life show today, we're going to be joined by an NFL Hall of Famer. You'll get the connection right after this.
Relax. Easy now. Find your happy place. It's all in the hips. Just tap it in.
Yes!
Find the latest clubs and apparel at Golf's Happy Place, the PGA Tour Superstore.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. and visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
It screams. It tracks. It's soft. It reacts. It is the Bridgestone Tour B with a game-changing reactive cover designed to spring faster off your driver and stick longer to your wedges. Try Bridgestone's Tour Bs, the Tour Ball reinvented.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try this. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm gonna go after the PGA Tour.
Bo, you're gonna need the right equipment company.
I think I got that.
You know Tour Edge backs all their clubs with a lifetime warranty.
I know.
They ship all their premium custom clubs in 48 hours.
I know.
All their premium clubs are hand-built in the USA.
I know.
You know Tour Edge has won 35 times out here.
Guys, I know.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com. Zero Friction introduces the Wheel Pro Pushcart Golf Bag with its revolutionary 3-in-1 design, supportive legs that spring into action, a comfort grip handle with 3 locking positions, accessories for the modern golfer enhanced by 7 pockets for more storage, and removable all-terrain wheels which slide right into place. The new Zero Friction Wheel Pro Golf Bag checks every box for every golfer. Push, carry, or cart, the decision is yours thanks to Zero Friction. Head to ZeroFriction.com today. Welcome back to the Fairways of Life show, folks. Pleasure to have your company. Matt Adams here with you. You know, one of the things that's so incredible and so wonderful about the game of golf is how it allows us these crossroads into other sports and other legends. The man that you're watching on your television screens around the world right now is Ronde Barber, an NFL Hall of Fame member. Pro Football Hall of Fame last year is when he entered. He is also the co-general chair of the Valspar Championship. He played 16 years in the NFL for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He had a career 47 interceptions in 28 sacks. He is the only player in NFL history with at least 45 and 25, respectively, in those categories. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He was a Super Bowl champ as well in Super Bowl 37. No surprise that his affinity for, obviously, the Tampa area, the Valspar Championship, as I just mentioned, with his leadership position that he has there. This is very much a man who knows football. He is very much a man that knows success, and he's very much a man that has a commitment to giving back, and using the game of golf as a vehicle to do the same is something that we all benefit from. Absolute delight and pleasure to welcome Ronde to the Fairways of Life show once again. How are you, my friend?
Good. How are you, Matt? It's good to hear from you again.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you. This is an exciting week with everything that's going on. How crazy does it get for you? Are you able to sleep this week, or is the work done pretty much in advance?
No, a lot of work's done in advance. Most of it's obviously during the year. It's 51 weeks just for to get ourselves ready to host for 1 week on the PGA Tour. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun too. You talk about sleep. No, we don't get sleep this week. A lot of us stay on property, get away from home just because we know how much interaction's needed from us. But at the end of the week, it's a great time. So we're all looking forward to it.
How much for all of you guys involved is it kind of a fist pump when you hear the best players in the world rave in their reviews of the Copperhead course and saying that, just as an example, just with the Florida swing alone, you'll have many of them say that it's their favorite stop of that swing.
Yeah, that's a testament to Innisbrook and Sheila Johnson, the owner of that property, and Bobby Barnes and Andrew Corey, the pros, and the general manager, Chris Whaling, those guys out at Innisbrook that maintain that property, that the course sets itself up every, winter into early spring to look like this that you're seeing on your screen. They put the oversea down. Ryan and his maintenance staff do a phenomenal job to get this course looking like this. I mean, it's a premier course in the area, but this time of year, it's beautiful. I mean, it's unbelievable what it transforms into. And so when the players get here, they're getting the best of Florida. The weather's perfect. The agronomy's perfect. The crowds that we get out the tournament are so much fun and enjoy golf. And there's a reason I think they continue to come back. I mean, year in and year out, we always worry about our field because we're not one of the designated events, the signature events or whatever. But the reality is guys keep showing up for us. And I think it's mostly because of what's going on at Innisbrook and the Copperhead course.
Ronde, golf, baseball, football, culture, whatever road we go down. I saw a thing recently. Can't remember where I saw it, but I saw a thing recently, and it was top 5 cities in Florida that people are moving into, right? Because there's a lot of people coming down now that they can work from home, et cetera, more. Top 5 cities in Florida that they're moving into, the number 1 city was Tampa. And so it makes me wonder, because you've been there for so long now and the changes that you've seen, where do you see the Valspar Championship kind of fitting in the fabric of sports and culture and fun and people coming into the city?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because the one thing, all Florida cities are like this. When you have, a sporting event, you're always fighting against everything else to do in Florida because you can go outside most days and find yourself at a beach or park or other golf courses. But for us, we're right at the beginning of spring training. The Lightning are still playing. Obviously, football season is in the fall. But those two sports actually bring a lot of people to the area, especially spring training baseball. The Blue Jays are right down the road. The Yankees are down in kind of towards Midtown and Tampa. There's plenty of other teams that matriculate this way, and so Valspar is in a very perfect spot actually because you're going to come down from up north, say you're a Yankees fan or Toronto fan or wherever, and you're going to go to spring training games. You know what? That one weekend in March, I think I'm going to go watch some golf. And it's been that way, since this event moved from the fall to the spring. And we're on a really, really good spot on the calendar. So, deciding what to do in Tampa is hard. I mean, it is. There's just a lot to do. But this time of year, it's perfect for a PGA Tour golf event. We're very fortunate, to be honest with you. We recognize our fortune to be in the position that we are in on the calendar during the PGA Tour calendar.
I want to talk to you more about the Valspar Championship and the impact it's making. They've just recently passed $50 million in charitable contributions. We'll get into all those details, but I want to focus on your NFL career here for a second, Ronde, as well. 16 seasons. The last time you and I spoke, it was just right before you were inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm not going to suggest that you weren't emotional knowing that you were going to be in there, but I am curious that once you are there for the induction and you make that wonderful speech that you made, how much were you swept up by emotions in the moment?
Oh, it's impossible to describe what that feeling was like. And, I'm a guy that's always kind of prided myself on being prepared. And so I knew what the moment was like. I had a couple of teammates, Warren, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Tony Dungy, all been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame before me. So I had seen the process. I knew what it looked like. And so I was prepared for it. I was ready to deal with the week, because the week is a lot. They ask you to do a lot and be a lot of places and speak to a lot of people. And I was fine. And then it's that moment right before you're getting up on stage and approaching the dais, and you got to, talk about yourself in the Hall of Fame. And that moment was overwhelming. Like my friends, the ones that were in the front row, were like, dude, your hands were shaking uncontrollably. I was like, I couldn't control it. But it's impossible to say what it means, because you'd have to really have gone through it with me. The 16 years playing, the then 6 years waiting, or actually 11 years, because 5 years after you retire, you're eligible. But I waited 6 years after that. There was a lot of anticipation on my point that I was going to be there, that my career merited, an induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, one of 371 at the time, guys going into the Hall of Fame. And the emotion caught up with me. It swept over me. But thankfully I was prepared and had a good speech, and had a good speech writer help me write it, and I was able to get through it. But it's a special moment. There's only 181 living Hall of Famers, and I guess there's 188 now, because 7 more are going in this year. But that's awe-inspiring when you consider the number of people that played the sport, that love the sport, and only a handful could be recognized as greatest of all time.
I hope I'm able to describe this question well enough for you to be able to answer. But does it make sense to you when I asked you the question, in that moment when you felt that emotion, who was that celebration for? And I know you're proud of what you accomplished, and you worked your tail off to do it. But in a moment like that, when someone reaches that type of immortality in their career and in their life, it's more than just them. Who was it about for you?
So interestingly enough, a lot of people. The Hall of Fame put me as the 8th speaker last year. There was 9 guys that went in. Joe Thomas was the last speaker, because he's from Cleveland, and it's right down the street, right? You play for Cleveland, it's right down the street. But we were 8th in the line of speakers, because we had the most people attend the event. 350 friends, family, associates, colleagues, whatever, came, and it was the most they'd seen, and who knows how long, they told us. And I think about who those people are. It's obviously my wife, my kids, my mom, my brother, all the extended family from both sides. But then I think of all the connections that I've made over the years. The friends from Roanoke, Virginia, coaches from Roanoke, Virginia, and the University of Virginia, and then all the friends and extended family, if you will, that I have here in Tampa. And none of them know each other without the connection through what my career was. And to see them all, gather in one spot and, celebrate with me and celebrate with each other, and all have the same feeling about wanting this accomplishment. So I feel like it's an accomplishment for me, but it's also an accomplishment for them. They were all there with me, and they were probably, to be honest with you, they probably wanted it more than me. I knew what my career was. They didn't get to experience my career. They got to watch it. But then being able to say that they were, at part of the Hall of Fame experience, that I'll never forget that. Those are going to be the indelible memories for me. When I'm looking back at this 20 years from now, about when I think about my induction in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
It is incredible. Talking about football, talking about golf, where do these two roads cross? That conversation as we continue in the Fairways of Life show with Ronde Barber.
I guess hello world, huh?
And with one subtle hello, Tiger began an amazing and unthinkable career.
I've done it for 20 years now with Bridgestone. It allows me to play an aggressive style around the greens, and it's allowed me to win a lot of tournaments.
Bridgestone Golf, proud to be part of your journey.
Boyne Golf provides the ultimate world-class golf destination with 10 championship-caliber courses spanning 3 resorts. Centered in Michigan's northern Lower Peninsula, the courses are the products of some of the game's masters, including Robert Trent Jones Sr., Arthur Hills, and Donald Ross. From the all-inclusive vacation packages, elite instruction with the Boyne Golf Academy, tournaments, and so much more, Boyne Golf truly offers an unrivaled Michigan golf vacation experience. Just log on to BoyneGolf.com.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
Easy now. Find your happy place. It's all in the hips. Just tap it in.
Yes!
Find the latest clubs and apparel at Golf's happy place, the PGA Tour Superstore.
What if we started a company and the company was under no time constraints, no financial constraints? The one constraint is their clubs had to be exceptional performers and much better than any other alternative. I was told time and again it'll never work. It worked like a house of fire. And I'll tell you what, I think our customers love it. BXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Order yours and save. Visit zerofriction.com/stride or scan the QR code to order yours today. Stride, your personal caddy.
Welcome back to the Fairways of Life show. My guest is Ronde Barber. This is a big deal this week with the Valspar Championship underway. It was a big deal for Barber, playing 16 seasons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, including a Super Bowl win. Of course, he is a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. An earmark of his career, of course, was longevity. 241 regular season games, NFL record streak of 215 consecutive starts at cornerback, and 224 if you include the playoffs. Only defensive back since the AFL-NFL merger in 1970 to start every game for 13 consecutive seasons. He's the NFL's all-time sack leader at cornerback. He was a Buccaneers winner of the Ed Block Courage Award. That was back in 2011. It's given across the NFL to a player from each team who demonstrates courage, sportsmanship, dedication to his hometown community. And that's something that we see time and again from Ronde, that dedication and that giving back to his hometown community. How and why did you decide that the Valspar Championship, this golf tournament, was going to be one of the vehicles that you felt like you could contribute to?
Yeah, that's a great question, Matt, because for years, this is a town that embraces its heroes. If you look at the foundations that my teammates and other, players from other sports have established here, they're big, they're significant. I was always a guy that spent my time following the path that other people laid out for me. And the biggest instance of that would be my wife. So all the charities that we supported prior to joining Copperhead Charities were charities that she worked for. JDRF, Diabetic Charitable Services. She worked for the Children's Home in Tampa for a couple of years. And those were all big parts of my life. But then when I retired, I got invited by Les Muma, who was the general chair at the time, my position at the time, to be on the board of the Copperheads, and I didn't know what it was at the time. I had no idea what the Copperhead Charities was. But then I quickly found out how important and meaningful their overall contribution was to our community. And I was like, this is something I can do. And then, God, now 8 years later, I'm in the stewardship position of general chair, managing and guiding this organizations that have been around since 1977. So for 48 years, I get to be the steward of a group of men and women, local businessmen and women who have one goal in mind, and that is to give monies back to local charities through the vehicle of golf, professional golf. And it's awesome to be part of it. I actually find myself a lot of times, wondering how I got this lucky to be a part of such a great organization. And then you couple that with what we've had in a partnership with Valspar and Sherwin-Williams over the past 11 years now. And there's no wonder why we passed that $50 million mark. They've really enhanced this organization. They've enhanced our community. They continue to beautify our community with everything that they do, and they're great partners. And I'm very fortunate, Matt, to be in the seat that I currently am with great people. John Ashby, my co-chair, of course, and then Tracy West, my tournament director, who is phenomenal. You know that. You've been around her. She is the reason I get all the praise. She makes me look really good.
There are tickets, folks, just if you wish to know. There are tickets still available for this week. Lots of fun things that are taking place on site. So if you bring your family, or if perhaps you bring a spouse and he or she is not into following the golf itself, there's a million other things that they can do. And when I talk about the tickets, there's all different levels that you can get as well. I talked about there's also a concert coming up this year with Cole Swindell and more. I talked about the fact earlier that the event has just passed $50 million in charitable giving. Ronnie, that number blows me away. And the reason why it blows me away, it impacts me emotionally, is because I know it changes lives. I know that you are touching people who, whatever the particular challenge that they're facing in their life, they are being benefited by a sporting event. You're being benefited by the game of golf. Does that affect you the same way, where it's kind of head shaking at times to think that this game can have such far-reaching impact?
Oh yeah, that's why we're all so passionate about what we do. I mean, Matt, I get paid $0 to be part of this, just like everybody on my board, just like all the Copperheads. They're actually being asked to generate revenue in the community so that we can put this tournament on. So yes, it's very impactful. Our board gets together a month or so after the tournament, and we have a charity committee. And there's some restricted funds that go to certain charities, like Habitat for Humanity, who's a pillar organization of ours. All the first tees are as well. But then we get to sit down and divvy out the rest of the monies that we've raised over tournament week. And those are probably the most in conversations, because there's no bad causes. And then at some point, we're going to make a decision. We vote on it, we decide, and then out of nowhere, a handful of charities are getting checks for $25,000 to $50,000, $100,000 from Copperhead charities, and the response that we get back from them is what makes us know that we're all doing the right thing. That we didn't even expect this. How do we thank you enough? Like, no, we're thanking you for being a charity in our community. And that's the power of professional golf. It's why I think all of us, at least on the Copperhead side, are so passionate about what's going on with the tour and how much it's going to affect us into the future, because we want to keep doing what we're doing. We passed $50 million, and this was a mixed team event. This was a totally different event before 2000. But since then, as the PGA Tour has grown, so too has our impact in our community. And as a leader in this organization, I definitely want to see that continue. And I'm looking forward to the years coming. And hopefully Valspar is part of that. I think we got a good chance to renew with them and continue to do what we're doing here in Tampa Bay.
You mentioned in the last segment that you were very pleased at where you hit in the calendar. Others would look at it as a challenging position to be in, but your field doesn't reflect that. You've got such a strong field coming in. I'm sure that's a reflection of the fun that people have when they're there, how great the golf course is, what you guys do behind the scenes for everybody. But I take it you've got to be very pleased with this week.
Could not be happier with this field. Obviously, again, we question it. We that's the one element that if there's pure golf fans that just don't want to come out and enjoy all the other amenities around course, they actually want to watch golf. You need good golfers. You need named golfers. You need the Jordan Spieths and the Justin Thomases of the world, and the Tony Finauls and the Saeed Tagalas of the world who have just committed with us. Those guys make our tournament because there might be somebody out there that may be considering buying a Copperhead club, which is our newest hospitality at Valspar this year. It's the highest end, biggest ticket. We need those guys so our patrons will come buy that ticket. But at the end of the day, we know we're always going to have a good field. I think we pride ourselves on saying it's the best place to get ready for the tournament that's in Georgia in a couple weeks. Tree line, moving it both ways, fast greens. There's little similarities there. But we're also, like you said, Matt, the most colorful PGA Tour event in the world, and that's part of what it is. Families love coming here. The players and their families love coming here. The caddies love coming here. Obviously, Valspar is part of the huge caddy hat program, so there's respect in that regard. And again, the course is great. The course is it lends itself that anybody can win. You don't have to be a bomber. 10 under, 9 under, it can be the winner. 12 under is a great score here, so you don't have to hit it a long way. You have to work it both ways. It really challenges your game. And like I said, we're happy, even though we are right after two signature events in API and the players.
ValsparChampionship.com, folks, is where you can log on to check out anything that you're hearing Rodney or myself talking about, including the tickets and the advanced ticket opportunities. There are still tickets available to anyone who wants to be a part of this amazing event. You mentioned, Rodney, where golf is at. And I'm assuming you're talking in kind of a macro sense relative to that.
Yes.
And I am curious with the AFL and the NFL merger that I mentioned earlier and relative to your incredible career, but from the standpoint of different philosophies perhaps when they started coming together, and certainly the NFL has had plenty of upstarts that, if you please, would challenge it, although they really haven't challenged it, if you know what I'm saying, but different leagues, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But there's been a harmony that's been found in the game. Is there lessons, do you think, that the game of golf at its highest competitive levels can learn from the NFL?
Oh, sure. I think you look at every sport in America, baseball, basketball, they all had, football certainly, all had big mergers, kind of seismic shifts in the way that the game was presented and then ultimately consumed. What it feels like in golf right now is that it's a little bit of a mess because there's no clean answer right now. There's the live and the PIF players, kind of in our sense feel like it's disrupting golf, but maybe it's what golf needed. But then there's also the response from the PGA Tour, which it is challenging us, is challenging host organizations and management companies. So there's a lot going on, and it needs harmony. And if that's the word that's best to describe it, I think we have to find it. Golf is a niche sport, man. This. It's not the most popular sport in America. There's very few people that can play it. It takes a long time, costs money, it's hard. So I don't know that the bandwidth is there for all of us to be divided in golf. I just don't think that's the way to the future, and I think players are starting to realize this. If you would ask me a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I probably would have been more upset about what's going on in golf. But now it's just coming to realize that the only thing I can control is what is going on in my circle. In my circle, Valspar Championship, the Copperhead Charities, the group that I run and organize, and how we can continue to do what we're doing in our community. And as long as golf doesn't, totally affect that and negatively affect what we're trying to do with our charity dollars, then let them figure it out, and we'll be fine along the way. We'll kind of stay in our lane and be where we are when it's all settled.
You know, with all due respect, you know, I have massive respect for you, Rodney, but I would love that for you personally to be more than in your lane. I would love that you were one of the voices that was involved in trying to find a pathway forward in this thing, because I think your vision can work. You know, I guess maybe it's because I'm a writer, but when I listen to people, oftentimes words come to me, and I've been writing them down while you've been talking. And these are the words that have come to me in reflection of Rodney Barber today: preparation, hard work, commitment, focus, tenacity, leadership, giving back, and gratitude. Have I forgotten any?
Oh, those are good ones. And it's funny when they come off the top of my head, and sometimes I don't even know that I say them, but I know that those are all words that I live by, and ones that I've learned to live by, not just, you know, just empty rhetoric, because those words matter, you know, and how you activate those type of words matter. And you know, honestly, the more that you're given, the more that's expected of you. Like Mike Tomlin used to always tell me, to whom a lot is given, a lot is expected. And I realized that I've been given a lot, you know, in life, in my career, obviously, financially. And so I'm expected to give a lot back. And so I'll continue to do so. And I do pride myself on that. And I think a lot of guys that are around me understand that that's who I am, and that's truly who I am. So it's nice of you to recognize that, man. Appreciate it.
It's incredible what you guys have done. Very, very excited about the Valspar Championship this week. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see you out there on the grounds. Good luck with everything that lies in store in the days that are before us. And as always, thank you very, very much for your time.
Thanks, Matt. I'll see you at the concert Saturday night, buddy.
Look forward to it. Incredible. Thanks to Seth. Thank you to Rodney again for being a part of the show. And folks, as always, thank you to all of you for being with us. Until we are together again, be well. Goodbye for now.